Peace and praise, blessed ones, listeners, supporters, beautiful people all around the world. I hope everybody enjoyed their Valentine's Day weekend. I would like to give a special happy birthday shout out to my dear friend D'Amica Jackson and also Monique Harrell. I hope that your birthday was everything you had wanted it to be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to come here and let you know, for all my lovers listening, to all my couples listening, to the single people, to just anybody who are hopeless romantics and, just a significant other. It is okay to love everyone because that is law from God, right? It's even okay to like multiple people because love isn't just romantic. When you meet someone you like while you're dating someone else you like, it's fine. The problem with dating, though, is the vulnerability you have to give to a stranger because it will remind you of why past experiences never worked out. Like, how can you be fully authentic but unappreciated? It's a little crazy to me, because all the times when things don't work out because you wasn't available at the state of where things went wrong at. I remember I was dating this girl, very beautiful woman. But of course I always date beautiful women. But I remember, she was going through some things, and even for myself, I was going through things too. And maybe this might be an example as far as like why they feel like broke people shouldn't date. But I'm aware of myself. Like, I can be stressful. I can be a lot of pressure for people because I am a giver. I love hard and I love easily because I'm just naturally a lover. And to me, you know, I did tell her like I will, take it easy. I won't, be too pressing because she had a lot going on and she had to figure out some things. And I just wanted to be supportive for her. I still wanted to talk to her. It wasn't even as far as about me seeing her. I want to be able to spend time with my partner, but I think sometimes it's hard for people, especially when they're going through stuff and when they're, struggling, whether financially or emotionally. And one thing about me is whether I'm struggling financially, emotionally, whatever, I'm always going to make time. And I feel like when you have someone, a significant other, it will kind of ease things up for you. You won't be as stressed. You won't be as strong willed when it comes to certain things. But like I said I would fall back a little bit. No, I mean I was still checking in on her and everything, but to her, it was still a lot. So she stopped talking to me, and it was kind of like, yeah, I'm not dealing with him. But I had to hit her up on TikTok because she wasn't responding to my texts, answering my calls. She blocked me on Facebook, and when I messaged her on TikTok, she explained what it was. So long story short is if you're not available emotionally or mentally, then you're not you can't deal with me. You can't handle me. Because oftentimes things, you know, doesn't work out and there's context to everything. Context matters. When you think of relationships, you think of romantic. And that could probably be because there's other terms we can use for our friends. There's other terms we can use for our children. Other terms we can use for our parents, bosses, supervisors, whatnot. But we can also use other terms for a significant other, which is called significant other. Like partner, confidant. There those terms are unison. Like they can mean different things. But you know, the challenge that I personally have come across when it came to seeking out a life partner or dating and a mutual compatibility is I like you like that, but you don't like me like that. And usually it can probably stem from just the attraction aspect of it, where you can think that I'm fine and I can like you, but I cannot be attracted to you. And for me, where I'm at in my life, like I still struggle with whether the people I'm attracted to is a condition that conditioned me. Because, we want to love people for who they are, but because looks can be deceiving, but we want to love people for who they are, but you really won't take the time to get to know them if you're not attracted to them. And that is a little shallow. So for me, when I pray, I'm going to share with y'all a prayer when I ask God to reveal who who belongs in my life and who doesn't belong in my life. And again, there's also going to always be those particular specifics. So I'm gonna say a prayer here with y'all today. So y'all just put y'all hearts and mind in this prayer. Prayer with me. When two or three are gathered together, He's in the midst. So if y'all want me to find love, if y'all wish me health, happiness, and holiness, and matrimony, and all that stuff, you'll pray with me. So I'm a pray, and I'll get back into this whole attraction thing. So, Heavenly Father, thank you once again for another day. Thank you for blessing me with life, health, and strength. There's so many things I can thank you for. Thank you for the publication of my book. Thank you for the success in my health and progression in my life, the productivity of everything that I have going on. You know what it is that I have going on. Just please continue to keep me in your will, in your way, because I cannot lean towards my own understanding. Lord, I come to you right now sincerely, truly, faithfully, humbly to give me favor, for a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. And I know I've made some mistakes and some bad decisions where I wasn't obedient to you, Lord. But I do thank you for giving me the heart to still be able to want that. I want to have that kingdom marriage. I want to find my kingdom spouse. I want to find my person, my one, my wife. Let your will be done, Lord. For allow me to see them through your lens. Allow me to recognize them through your way, through your faith. Allow me to acknowledge them through all the distractions that may hold me back. Lord, you know where my heart is at. You know where my mind is at. Clear it out. Allow me while I'm still living my purpose, while I'm still trying to achieve things and to build. Show me who my kingdom partner is. Remove any distractions, remove any obstacles, remove any doubt for me to have discernment. Lord, I thank you. I love you. I need you. In Jesus' name, amen. So, sometimes I get personal like that. Sometimes I get vulnerable because, again, like I said, y'all are my family and I am honest with my family. Sometimes we tend to hide ourselves from the world because, like I said, maybe the people who you hold to a high regard might not acknowledge you or recognize you because, again, we all want to be loved, we all want to be appreciated, we all want to feel some sense of acceptance. And for me, who is big on family, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't always see eye to eye with my family about. Me and my dad, I love my dad to death. I mean, we don't always see eye to eye. My mom, I love my mom to death. We don't always see eye to eye. My sister, my brother. So it's like, there's a lot of people who I love dearly, who I don't always agree with, who I don't always, show the love that they made diseases out of, because, again, we don't know what other people know. So I'm always big on vocalizing how you feel because we don't know. We can only assume because it's like, okay, we can, like, going back into attraction. If there's somebody that you're attracted to, and I mind you, attractiveness isn't exclusive to just couples. And this is something that I had that they kind of had mentioned in the Tastemakers podcast. Shout out to them, Cole, Corey. I think Charles and Bree was on that episode, but shout out to them. But there was an important thing where, if you're married, if you're in a partnership, if you're in a committed relationship, if y'all exclusively dating, and you see somebody else that is attractive, do you bring it up? Should you bring it up? Do you keep it in? I mean, these are conversations that probably need to be had because the way that I look at attraction is the same way I look at emotions. You can be attracted to somebody but not act on those attractions. Meaning that you can think somebody looks good or think somebody's fine and not sexualize them or objectify them or not, keep your hands to yourself. So there's that. It's like art. When you look at a piece of art, you say, "Oh man, this is remarkable. This is a great painting. This is a great picture," and you want to know who the author is, or the artist, or you can just appreciate the art. You don't even have to brag about it, but it's like you see it. You got eyes that work, but eyes are the windows to the soul. But you also have to remember that there's an important point, especially when it comes to dating, where you just have to keep it real. You have to communicate and be like, you should know who you're dealing with. Like, if you're someone who struggles with finances, your partner should know. If you're somebody who struggles with lust, your partner should know. If you're someone who struggles with, concentration, your partner should know. Not saying that you are not valuable to be loved or to continue on, because I feel like when it comes to attraction, you can be attracted to a lot of people. There's a lot of women who I've been attracted to and never acted on it, never pursued them, because it's like because for me, I believe in the foundation of relationship. If me and this person doesn't have no type of relationship at all, like I can just be like, okay, yeah, you look good. Like, I'm on social media, so there's a lot of beautiful women in the world. And like whoever my partner is, they know that. They can even acknowledge it. I know like, again, I'm not the only man that they see. It's like the pickings. It's like, okay, who do you spend time with the most? Who's being consistent, persistent? Was another thing. You can be consistent. People want consistency, but you have to be persistent as well, because there can be somebody that is giving you consistency, but you might not want them. You want who you want, and that's another thing that I can get into another time. I'll probably put this on my next book. But when we are giving our time and attention to someone that we're attracted to, there's gonna be some buildup, right? So as far as conditioning, we can be conditioned in many ways, and I'm not sure what that could be, but I'll say for myself, whereas like I grew up in the '90s because I was born in '87, so I grew up looking at certain stuff that I probably had no business looking at. I was looking at movies that I probably had no business looking at. I mean, I wasn't looking at porn or nothing, but the thing is, like, there was a lot of music videos that I used to watch. There was a lot of movies. Like I said, I grew up looking at House Party. I grew up watching Martin. I grew up watching these things like where there's, okay, these women look good. I know about the colorism in the black community, and I want to touch base on this because I had seen this documentary. Even with Chris Rock and good hair, I seen this documentary, Black Girls. And I remember I had let my sister look at it, and I remember she said she cried because, again, my sister is a dark skinned woman. And I remember how, you know, light skinned women had a persona. And the thing with dark skinned women is they was experiencing a stereotype that they didn't even, validate. It's just like with men, like why they say men can we're territorial. We was created from God. We came on this earth and was created from the dirt, and we had to name the the animals and name the different food. But here's the thing: women, darker women, get so much hate because they're dark. And it might be like one of those things in like with lighter skinned women where they might say feel like they stuck up or too good. And I feel like, to me, just from my experience, dark skinned women has a justification to be the way they are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's fine to do that. But the thing is that all women are beautiful, and whether somebody finds you attractive or not, there's going to be somebody who will find you attractive. But the thing with dark skinned women is because, again, there's power in the melanin. I always say, like, they look. We all know the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The thicker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So even when you're a full-figured dark skinned woman, you know, there's always going to be some type of hate, because to a lot of people in the world, even women who might not be as dark, they may feel like if I can tear you down, you won't be as confident. If I can say you're ugly, you can then feel less than, because love conquers all. So when you love yourself, people who don't love themselves might look at you as arrogant or all that in a bag of chips. And sometimes you're going to have to receive it and say, you know what, I am. But it doesn't mean that you're, holier or better than anyone else. But sometimes people feel threatened and they show that. So when they put you down, ladies, please listen to me. This is to all the women. But so when someone tries to put your looks down, oh man, your butt's fake, or you why you dress like that. I mean, you want to dress reserved sometimes, but occasion is occasion. But a lot of times, if somebody isn't recognizing your beauty or acknowledging your beauty as a beautiful woman, don't pay it any mind. Because why would you tell somebody that they're ugly? You don't have to be attracted to them, but there's certain words, because again, words mean things and language mean things. And I'm big on that. Like for me, I am a sucker for dark skinned woman. I love dark skinned women. I love all women in general. I am for my black queens, but I love, like, if women, man, it's a weakness of mine. But again, I'm not a player. Don't let my past choices fool you. I'm not a player. But attraction, people are conditioned a certain way. So when I see somebody that I'm attracted to, because like I said, I have a lot of women friends, and maybe all of them, they're attractive, but I could be attracted to who they are personally, attracted to their looks. I mean, I have preferences, but my preferences aren't requirements, and that's another thing. Like we have to remember, like we can say somebody might be selling with what they get, because it's like there's so many fishes in the sea, and if you're gonna be picky and pick the goldfish, then it's gonna take a long road. I know there's another girl who might have a preference. Okay, yeah, if your thing sounds crazy, I'm saying, if your thing is in a certain instance, then you can't. I don't want you. But it's interesting because we will want all these things. We will have a list of the type of man that we want, the type of woman that we want, and you might not be working on yourself to attract these type of people. And even if you are, what makes you qualified that they will want you? And even if it is mutual, just remember, and I know this is a cliche, looks fade away. Black don't crack, but looks fade away. But the interesting thing, even with that, is you can be 65 and still fine. Shout out to Angela Bassett. Courtney B. Vance, man. He like my all respect to him, man. But you know, it was just certain things that was troubling me because, like I said, I've have had expressed there has been women, and I talked about this recently. So it's like I'm attracted to someone that I really like, and we've been talking. I'm just really trying to get to know her. We are reconnecting, but I've expressed what I wanted. I've expressed my intentions. Now I'm a patient man, very humble, very understanding, and it has been revealed to me that she may. I don't think she's interested in me, right? But that's fine because again, I'm strong. For me, I'm not. I don't feel awkward. Like if I'm trying to pursue a relationship with somebody and they're not trying to pursue one with me, I can walk away because one thing with me is like it's not set in stone for where we have this companionship partnership where well, she don't want me. I mean, we can still be friends. It's not as far as like, okay, maybe you want it because the thing is, I have friendships with women, and I have no problem with having more friendship with women. Now, if I wanted to pursue something more than the friendship, and they didn't, why would it be awkward for me? Because one thing with me is like I'm like that's always gonna be the foundation. If me and a woman has any type of relationship, it's friendship first. So even like with me and my ex-wife, we're no longer married. We're not together. I'm not trying to get back with her or nothing. But I always told her, I said, look, we friends. We can talk. I mean, we don't talk, but the thing is that I make myself available to people because I love them. And I think it's just a matter of how you love this person. Like if I express interest in you and it's not mutual, and sure maybe it can change. But just like me, I can change my mind too. Maybe later down the line you might change your mind about me, but then maybe later down the line I can change my mind about you. But for me, it's about having the foundation. For me, Christ is always going to be the foundation. So like a lot of my friends who don't have that relationship with God, it might not be as strong, but I always look for the most important core foundation, the strongest foundation in relationships. And again, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong, but that's just how I move. Like I've had pursued women who ended up getting married, who ended up having children, who ended up with other people who might not have been interested in me. And yeah, it hurts sometimes, but again, I'm not gonna die. It's no hate or nothing because again, one thing for me is the friend in me, the true friend in me is I want you happy. But I want to make sure that you're sure, you're certain, and you know what you're doing. I'm one of those friends like, hey, I'm gonna root for you. Like if you have your joy, if you have your peace, then I'm cool with it. Like for me, I don't get offended too much. Because the thing is, like, one, and I said this on previous episodes. I even said this to, people that I pursued before, and still have yet to been classified. But it's like, if we're not exclusive, I can do whatever I want. But it goes back into where it's like where my sense is, where my consciousness is. Like, okay, I'm attracted to this person. I'm getting to know this person. I like this person. I'm really feeling this person. I want this person. And now I love this person where I need this person. And because it's all like love comes in full circle. Love comes around in full circle. Those are always the steps. So if me and you are talking, like if you're okay with me wanting to pursue you and you don't want to pursue anything with me, and if you're still fine with us being friends, then hey, we can just be friends. And I can just move on to someone else. But that's the thing that a lot of people are afraid of, because nobody wants to be a rebound. Nobody wants to be second pick. And I'm like, there's a million people in the world, and you are one in a million. But we also have to remember, like, there's gonna be somebody who catches us, who catches our attention. There's gonna be many people because our temper is like, it's like, hey, look, if I decide to act on all my attractions, then nobody gets to be happy. That's how unfaithfulness starts. It's not as matter as far as, oh, this person's better than you, so because I picked this person, but it's like, hey, that's how the dining on that's how the dating game is. Like, I'm not gonna be someone's first pick. Again, I can sometimes feel like that I'm not attracted because maybe nobody wants me or nobody's getting me, because again, I'm aware of my flaws. I know the physical aesthetics in me, but the thing is, I don't catch people by that. But like I said, you might not know if you don't talk to anybody. So that's why always I'm very open and vocal about certain things. I get attached so much that I might get emotional, because I'm like, my time is valuable and I'm using it to share it with you or spend it with you. And when it's not reciprocated or given, when I'm engaging in it, it does break my heart sometimes. But again, life doesn't resolve just around my needs. There has to be a mutual understanding of, like, pets and stuff, but that can just be due to my desire of wanting a life long term relationship with a significant person. And I had to think, why am I like this? Because I'm healed, happy, and holy now. I didn't send a lot. It took a lot of prayer, a lot of rejections, a lot of time to get into this space where, yeah, I'm healed, but my feelings still get hurt. I'm happy, but I still get sad at times. I'm holy, but I still get horny often. I'm a human being. I'm still a person. I'm still a person. I'm still a man. And despite my battles, I have the strength and the conditioning from the Most High that gives me that to overcome it. Because it goes back again to say, get angry but sin not. So that goes back again to what I was saying. Like, you can be attracted to somebody and not act on the attraction. And sometimes when you don't talk about it with your partner, it can become an issue. Y'all remember Why Did I Get Married To? And I want to say Tyler Perry's character, his wife, she had some attraction to somebody that she worked with, and she she was thinking about somebody, like she was cheating emotionally because there was no communication there. So the thing is, like, I'm not going to be with someone if I'm if I'm if I can't overcome temptations or lust, because there's layers, and I get the layers. And I think sometimes people feel like attraction is is a is cheating, but that could be insecurity as well. I mean, I think about these things often. Like, there's a certain attraction that you have with people. Like, there's been people who I've slept with that I wasn't necessarily physically attracted to, but I was sexually attracted to them. There's a deal with that where it's like, I don't just hump anything, but there was something about you that I saw that was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, but you have to be open and honest about this. If somebody can't respect you for your honesty, if people are mad about you being honest with them, I mean, they can be mad, but how do you and your partner work through this? Because there's gonna be times where you and your partner may be out and y'all see other attractive people. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna sit there and look back at them while your partner's there, but there could be people who you might say, oh, because again, you might have a preference, but as you get close to someone who you get to know, they will grow on you, and then you learn to love them. And it's like, what, I wasn't really like attracted to you like that, but you like, I knew who you were. I got to know you, and I really love you as a person. And you're cute, and you look good, and I can see myself spending the rest of my life with you. That's kind of how I look at that. And maybe it's a poor choice of words when I say these things, where it's like, okay, you can be good enough, but yeah, that's my stance on that, and that's how I feel. That's what I believe, and like I said, God knows who you're meant to be with, and sometimes everybody doesn't get to see who they're meant to be with because it's not, maybe not essential. I always think about the Gomar Horsey. I gotta go back and read that story again, because I always think I would say, well, God told Horsey to marry Gomer, who was a promiscuous woman, because he wanted him to. This is how you connect with what Christ is. You need to feel how he feels. The church, his people, disowned him, turned on him, betrayed him. Like, they disappointed him, but God's love, Jesus' love for God, was how God loved the world. And that's how we should love one another. That's how a husband should love his wife. That's how a man should love a woman. That's how like how we should love each other. That no matter how poor or bad somebody treats you, you have to remember that we're all experiencing different things that shape us, but is your heart with the Lord? There's been many people that disappointed me, that hurted me, that pissed me off, that made me feel like, man, I'm not worthy enough. But like emotions, they're gauges. I had to learn to make sure that it's okay. It's okay to be let down and be disappointed. These are things that we don't want to be, but we have to remember that even in disappointment, even in our struggles and our suffering, that God is preparing you for something greater than the pain that you go through. So you do have to trust his plans, and you have to pray and seek him. You know, when you live for Christ, when you live for the Lord, life will be easier, but it will still be hard and difficult. Life might not be perfect, but I promise you, if you give your life to God, if you give your life to Christ, your life is going to change for the better. And you might still experience certain things, but it's a process. You're here today. There's 365 days in a year, 366 on a leap year. And a lot of us, a lot of my listeners, they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s. And then people like, remember, I'm 38. I may still have another 38 years to live. So that I will be 76. Yeah, I'll be 76 in 38 years. So I'm trying to, like, I'm in the process now of like trying to, you know, eat better because I want to live for a long time. I want to still be in my 60s and 70s, being able to run, still being able to perform. I want to make sure that I can always make the right decisions in my life and my marriage, and I want to still be able to move around. And it does take a lot of discipline. So that was the thing. Like, I'm working on my discipline right now. Like I said, I'm happy, healed, and holy. So I just have to, once I master my mindset, like my mind, where my mind is, because everything starts in the mind. Like, my mindset is there. I just have to execute on it. I have to be consistent. I have to be persistent. I have to, be disciplined. So that's what it is as far as like even in dating and relationships and marriage. For me being married for the short period of time I'm in, I'm sure I can still give advice to people who've been married longer than me, or people who still looking to be married once and never once. But it's like we can always learn, like, because we all have different experiences. But I'm always going to stay on this because, like I said, I'm very vocal about my transgression, about my history, and I had to think about it. It's like, go through that argument, yo. Climb that mountain. If you and your significant other are having problems, work it out. Do not step out. Work it out. The the trials of the obstacles that you have to go through in relationships are worth more than the rest of the life if you make the wrong decision. So for people who are separated, work it out. For people who are in complicated relationships, work it out. Resolve it or dissolve it. But if you're married and y'all both have God in your life, go to God and work it out. You know, there's a lot more that I can say, but I'm not going to say it right now. I'm contemplating on if I want to start writing my next book. But don't forget that you can, get my book on Amazon Kindle for $5. Soul Food in the Red by Anthony D. Blair. It's available now on Kindle, on Amazon. I'll have the paperbacks releasing in the future. Can't tell you when yet, but I'm working on it. But make sure I give it a read. If y'all have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it there. I appreciate everybody for checking it out. Thank you everybody for listening. As always, stay safe, stay productive, and positive. This is Blair, and y'all be good.